but I didn't unmute myself. Of course I didn't. It's been that sort of day. Technical difficulties as far as the eye can see today. As far as the eye can see. But I've got it sorted. But of course, there had to be that last little glitch. Let me go straight to the comments because there's some really good people here. And there's 12 people that have waited for me, even though the stream is starting 20 minutes later than it should have. And that's my bad. I'm really sorry. How you going, Armando? A very good friend of mine. A very good friend. How are you, my friend? Thanks for even slightly tuning in here and enjoy your clients. Ciao, Lucas. Good to see you, my bro. My rival. He literally is my rival, bro. Mine. No one else's. Hoping for some Mickey slander. Yeah, that's coming. Let's go. Udinese, Inter. Oh, no. 11 p.m. kickoff. And it's school holidays. So I have to wait. I have to stay up and watch that. You've already ruined my Sunday, Gabby. Now I have to stay up and watch Inter on Sunday. Well, come on, man. I thought we were friends. Why are you being the bearer of bad news like that? Not good. What's going on, Zir? Good to see you. Make sure everyone goes and subscribes to his channel. Subscribe to the Buy and View and everything associated with Zir. Let's go. Let's get it going, man. There's already 17 people with me right now. The channel is growing. I didn't expect it to grow like this, to be honest. If that's been the best surprise of this new season so far, has been seeing like an influx of subscribers. There just must be some new Serie A fans in the world. I feel like I've got a fair bit of backsplash from Judge Mo, but there must be some Serie A fans out there somewhere. And anyway, I am here, as always, to be objective and to face the music, because that's what I do. I am objective and I face the music. We all have to. We all have to if it's not our day, and it was not Inter's day. By the way, for the record, this is a beautiful one of the Azzurri third kits that they never got to wear too often, with Totti on the back. Absolutely gorgeous drip. Gorgeous drip, this one. Sort of drip that absolutely turns heads. All right. You know who didn't turn heads? Inter. You know who did? Milan. No excuses here. If you want to hear me talk about the game, if you want to hear me talk about the game in the most negative way possible, just let me get this banner going at the bottom. If you want to hear me talk about it as negatively as possible, you can check out the Inter Worldwide content. However, today it's actually all going to be talking about Milan and why they deserve this game and the factors that led to this game. And I guess the first factor you need to point out is the unnecessary negative projection towards their club as a whole, going into one of the most colorful and decorated derbies on the planet. Form goes out the window. It doesn't matter how good Real Madrid are. You'd never guarantee them to beat Barcelona, and vice versa. No matter how good Celtic are, you'd never guarantee that they would beat Rangers, and vice versa. Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, vice versa. Derbies are derbies for a reason. Didn't anybody else see Man United spank City a couple of times over the last 6 or 7 years? Even I've seen that happen. It happens. But you know what it didn't happen for? 6 in a row. And I'm not saying that as an interflex. I'm saying that as a general comment of, yo, guys, all things come to an end, especially football trends, for God's sake. Especially football trends. Full kudos to Milan for taking that and using it as a galvanizing tool to get their first real 3 points of the season. It's all well and good whipping the team that's probably going to get relegated, Venezia, but you came to the champions. Of course, you came to your own home ground the same way we did last season, but you came to the champions. You beat the champions comprehensively. You were the best team for 94 minutes. 94 minutes, not 4 minutes, like Pioli used to be happy with. You were the best team for 94 minutes. I wouldn't say Inzaghi was tactically outclassed. I would say that the players, position for position, were more ready to perform their role to the highest level. Football is a game of very tight and small margins, and we saw the small margins pay huge dividends for Milan in this game because they were still small margins, but Milan made them look big. They made them look like they took those small margins and went, no, we're running away with this. 50-50s, more like 60-40s. Getting between the lines, we'll make sure that every single one of our players is getting between your lines properly. And if we don't get progressive enough, we'll draw the right fouls. They drew some great fouls in that game. The last foul that they drew led to the goal. And that would have to be an Inzaghi. You know, Inzaghi should have subbed off Di Marco a little bit earlier. DiMarco pulled that foul down because he was tired. Probably wasn't ready to play that full game. Inzaghi needs to take a huge piece of the responsibility for this game, but the players need to stand up. I'm glad Lautaro Martinez stood up for Inter nice and early now and has said that, actually, I might change this. We might do this in green. Yeah, for the Serie A segment that separates it from Inter content. Yes, we are moving with the basics, aren't we? 14 people on the channel now. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. Yiro says the players were somewhat tired. Milan had a full day advantage. I guess I can pay that excuse with a little. Age caught up with Mickey and Acerbi. All right. As an Inter fan, I guess I can talk about this a little bit. This is going to be a season where a lot of Inter players need to know that they're on their last one. Whether it's Mkhitaryan, Acerbi, Darmian, Correa, Arnautovic. I think at the end of the season, if we can't sell them, it'll be about cutting contracts. And I'd like to see us cut those contracts because they can't stick around at this club any longer past this season. They're already, their level after winning the Scudetto has dropped massively. And I don't think that they'll have the mental motivation to truck on this year as opposed to some other clubs. Long story short, it's a great moment for Gabbia. If I can go back to talking about Milan like I wanted to, when I saw their subs come in, Chukwueze and Okafor, or was it Loftus-Cheek and Okafor? Oh, I forget. Either way, when I saw the subs coming on, I'm like, oh man, those are some badass substitutions. Whereas Simone Inzaghi's substitutions were dull. He subbed out chunks of the midfield at a time. We were left without our most potent players very early with a lot to play. But at the same time, it's okay that Inter cop this kick up the ass this early in the season. There is plenty of time to recover from this. Kudos to Milan. Well done on your 3 points. Your season officially pretty much starts now as well. And if there are any Milan fans here, like this awesome guy, Yongo, let me know how you're feeling about Fonseca. He goes, we might be stuck with Fonseca for a longer. Us fans have no real faith in him. I think that you still need to give him a bit of a shot, man, because no one deserves to be sacked this early in a season. You're on the same amount of points as us. Are we saying that we need to sack Inzaghi? Nowhere near it. And I know we've got a little bit more backbone to fall on with Inzaghi, my brother, but you got to give Fonseca that little bit of extra time. You got to give him until like December, January, man. If by January he's like -9, -12, -15, you're out of the top 4, then I guess you could start to ask questions. But it's his first season. Shouldn't he just be tasked with getting you guys a Champions League spot? If that's the case, then he's not off course. He's on course. He's just stacked it a couple of times. And a couple of people have gone, fell down again. But we just fell down as well. Juve have fallen down. Napoli have fallen down. Everyone has stacked it and been made fun of. So I think we just need to allow it at this point. Decent game overall. Not the most, not the prettiest derby you'll ever watch, but still a better one than I've seen in the past. Like, nowhere near the worst derby. Like, the derbys for me, and I think everyone will agree, started to light up again when Spalletti started coaching Inter and when Milan, I think, went under different ownership and had a very audacious market. Remember the one where you signed like 7 players in the same market? Hakan, Kessier, was it Borini? Ricardo Rodriguez, Teo Hernandez might have actually been in that window. Yeah, it was a busy Romagnoli. It was a busy market, and it was like the return of Milan. I think a lot of them underperformed, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much where the derby started to really, really regain some passion. Serie A started to come back a little bit. Cristiano Ronaldo signs for Juventus, and from there on in, it's slowly and steadily gotten back to what it's needed to be, with the hype of it being a 2-legged semi-final in the UEFA Champions League. No one can deny that. No one can take that away from either of those sides that they represented the city in that semi-final. Both of them have won a league title from the point of Juventus's dominance. Milan winning 1, Inter winning 2. So the relevance factor is very much there again. The derbys are back, and I think this derby was a great one. A terrific one from a Milan point of view. Not the great best one from an Inter point of view, but a great derby nonetheless. I can't lie, Serie A is up for grabs for any team. I think debatable on any team, but I can think of 3 that should be slogging it out. Interisti have been waiting to cry. It's been a fantastic year, so they haven't had a chance to. Facts. It doesn't look like any top team in Serie A was ready for the season to start. Everyone's tired, bro. We were speaking about this when I was doing some sort of long-ass 2.5-hour drive to the inner New South Wales for a bachelor party. I remember we were talking about this, and look, the injuries are going to come, and they're going to flow heavy. There could be players going on strike very, very soon. You never know. Inter, Milan, Juve, Napoli all got a chance at this. Z thinks AC Milan have no business expecting to win the league. I think Young's talking truth from his fans' point of view. We have a weaker side than the previous Scudetto team. Anything can happen, obviously. And if you can stick... The thing about the league is that if you can stick in the battle long enough, you can usually spring yourself on later on. But there's still a lot to come. Anyway, we got to move on. We got a lot to cover with a lot more games than just the derby. Full credit to Milan. They get their 3 points. Next game, Young feels Juventus will have a big say. Disappointing for them to not get on the score sheet in this game at home, because now it's 3 games in a row. I think that they've had to take a 0-0 draw. Yeah, it's nice not conceding goals, but the objective of the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. Conte will be more than happy with a 0-0 walking out of Turin there. He was clapping. He was happy, bro. Antonio Conte loved that 0-0. That might be his favorite 0-0 of all time. Actually, facts, it is his favorite 0-0 of all time. Antonio Conte loved that result. In terms of the game itself, I managed to catch about 63 minutes of the extended replay, extended highlights and replay. Pretty much it is the full 90, but I just couldn't watch the whole thing. And I liked what I saw from both sides. I think that the player on the screen for Juve now, I think he's actually pretty good. I think he shields the ball really well. And I'm glad I found this photo, albeit against a pretty poor defensive Di Lorenzo. Sempre poor in defense. But he definitely can do a job when he's instructed to properly. And he's got the king of instructions, the CEO of the drill sergeant of just do as I say and I'll control you like a PlayStation controller in Antonio Conte. But overall, I don't think both managers won't be disappointed with a draw. It'll be the players who probably felt like they could have gotten more from it, but they've probably been told before the game what to expect from it. And what the result means if you do come away with the draw. So I remember Juventus had substantially more possession. I remember off the top of my head, I'm going to ballpark it at about 60 to 64%, 65 maybe, 66, anywhere between 60 to 65%. Way more passes, like almost double the amount of passes that Napoli had in the game. And their passing was pretty good as well. I can't remember if anyone got cards in the game. I don't think there were any send-offs. I don't think there were any arguments between anybody either. I think it was a pretty placid game, to be honest. In terms of how they lined up, and this is just me trying to remember the game. So, Lucas, can you correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, because I'm about to try and relay the game off the top of my head, and I might say something that actually didn't happen or that I had to fabricate because there was a missing hole. We need to be able to break a low block 100. Can't look at Vlahovic for these results. Well said. He needs to do better in terms of movement, but we also need to create next to nothing for him. And you need to create outside of him. This whole notion that you've got a striker doesn't mean that you only score through the striker. And this is why Lautaro can go patchy for Inter under Inzaghi, bruv, because we'll make those goals happen. Yeah, we've had a slow start this season, but you know what I mean. If Lautaro gets patchy, goals are coming. Goals are coming. We're not concerned about that. We're concerned about your goals, Lautaro. We're not concerned about goals in general. You guys need to get something outside of this number 9. Desperately. Di Gregorio started for you guys. Savona and Cambiaso were your fullbacks. Bremer and Kalulu were your centre backs. Locasmelli and Weston McKennie which I was surprised that Thiago Motta played Weston McKennie in this game. I know rotating him in and out of the Champions League was always going to sort of be on the cards, but to have him back up in this game, I thought doesn't offer anything creatively, doesn't offer anything in breaking down a block. Weston McKennie is a question mark inclusion for me in this game. And then if I'm not wrong, you played Coop Miners behind Vlahovic with Yildiz and Nico Gonzalez on the other side. Locatelli has been good this season, and I've been very critical of him in the past because he didn't justify that price tag at all under Allegri. In terms of substitutions, You guys only made 2. You guys only made 2. You didn't use all of your subs, which is interesting in this modern day. You only made 2, and it had to have been Turam and I was going to say Costensao, but it can't be Costensao. He's injured. Turam and I forgot your last sub, man. I forgot your last sub. That's shit. He mustn't be good. Danilo. Was it Danilo? No, it was Weah. It was Weah. It was Weah from one useless guy to another. Danilo to Weah. That's the one. That's the one. Anyway, from Napoli, off the top of my head, I'm going to actually go backwards because it's easier for me to go backwards with Napoli. We'll go Lukaku, Crava. Bro, Scott McTominay plays for Napoli. Scott McTominay plays for Napoli. Like, was that on your bingo card for this year, guys? Scott McTominay, McSauce, McNuggets, McChicken, the guy that I have copiously bet on live when he's warming up on the sideline for Manchester United. Oh, shit. McSauce is warming up. Get your tenors out. Even at these bachelor parties that I went to this year, I was telling people, I'm like, bro, McSauce, McTominay. And then we'd wake up the next day, check the scores, and McTominay would score. Unbelievable. Scott McTominay plays for Napoli. Unbelievable. Politano played. Anguissa played well again because I really like Anguissa. God, I like Anguissa, man. If there was any chance of Inter getting Andre Franck Zombonguissa, what a pronunciation. I'd take him even at 20. He's turning like 29 this year. He's not young. He's not young at all. He's just peaked late. He's peaked late from his time at Villarreal to Fulham and here to Napoli. But feed me Anguissa, and I would be very happy for him at Inter. Labotka also played, and I'm guessing in defense it had to have been Rahmani, Buongiorno, Di Lorenzo, and I don't know. I forget. Juan Jesus maybe. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Billy Gilmore went to Napoli as well, didn't he? Now, there had to have been an inside conversation between Double Patty McTominay, and Big Mac Billy Gilmore. Bro, how is no one else in the world making these jokes? Like McTominay and Big Mac Billy Gilmore, McChicken and Big Mac, bro. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Where's he even from? Like Scottish, but whereabouts in Scotland is this guy even from? No idea. Good game altogether. Good point for both sides. Doesn't mean anything in terms of where the standings are at the moment. It just basically shows that both managers at this point of the season with the hard level rotation that's coming would much prefer to just settle for that point. Billy Gilmore and Scott McTominay, you've got to be kidding me. Goodmanson has arrived. Okay, it's time. It is absolutely time for Goodmanson to arrive in Serie A. After his little legal problems and his little court problems, it wasn't enough for Fiorentina to overlook it, and they'll reap the benefits. And I guess woe is Lazio, who looked shit again. They took the lead through Mario Gila, but with an average lineup once again, and Goodmanson pretty hungry. 2 pens, 2 conversions. Happy days. Happy days again. You know what was interesting for me? Once again, when I went back and watched the highlights, I saw Gaetano Castrovilli in a Lazio jersey playing against Fiorentina. Good signing for Lazio, but he's definitely underperforming at the moment, as most of their starting lineup is, because man for man, they're not the worst team, obviously, but they're a weak Lazio team. Isaacson, Dia, Guendouzi, Tavares, Patrick, Manuel Lazzari still, Providel. Like, come on, man. Even their subs, Marusic, Pedro. Like, how old's Pedro now? 37? Like, that's just a guess. It's crazy. Serie A is still a retirement league, bro. And Lazio suck. Lazio are really bad. I don't think that they're going to have much of a shot this season at any sort of European football. My pick is that they finish outside the top 6. There will be no Europa League for them. In fact, I think the top 6, I think 6 gets Conference League, actually. So, yeah, there won't be European football for Lazio this season. At this rate, I've got Torino finishing above them. And we'll talk about them coming up soon. But really, really poor from Lazio. I think Motta starting to find his feet a little bit. When you look at the Fiorentina lineup, however, you know, there's some names in there that make you go, hello. There's some names in there that make you smile, especially if you're a bit of a nostalgia merchant like myself. I mean, seeing Robin Gosens on that lineup is fantastic. And I think he played 90 minutes again. It's really only going to be Inter that he didn't fulfill the boots for. Biragi. So you got Gosens and Biragi, both who came through Inter in that left wing back position, now playing next to each other in a 3-5-2, or sorry, more like a hybrid 3-4, 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3 under Palladino for La Viola on that left-hand pocket. Their attackers are shit though. Like Bove and Colpani aren't going to do them their justice this season. But Moise Ken's starting to find his form, and I guess if some other names like Kouame and Mandragora, Sotil can still put in half decent performances throughout the year, Fiorentina are a side that might actually be able to look at scratching for a Conference League spot. But even then, it's going to be really competitive this season. Really competitive for those European spots. Competitive all round. I think we can move on from this game. Let me just go to the comments for a sec. Big up, Santh. Just wanted to know your opinion on this. Bisek coming on as a CDM if Chala needs resting. I honestly think Bistek would be a more solid center defensive mid option than Aslani. Oh, fucking Aslani. Oh my god, bro! Sent him back to Empoli on loan. I think that's a topic that I might look at talking about a bit more on this channel. With some different material coming up, bro. I put a hot take that Lazio wouldn't make top 10 this season and got cooked by everyone on Twitter. I love that take. Like I doubled down on that take, man. Because like the club like Lazio is in the worst position. Clubs like Roma and Lazio, they're always in a bad position because the weight of the badge on the front of their chest, it's too big for a lot of what the club can do to support it, but not small enough that the fans are going to change their expectations. That's the awkward position these two clubs are always in. The expectations for the fans is always non-really applicable to the ambitions of the board, the club in general. All right, Castro grabbed a goal and Bologna are finally off the mark. Finally off the mark for this season. It took them a while. We knew that they were going to struggle big time. This is actually one of the games that I haven't seen the highlights for yet. So the most exciting part of doing this content on either a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, getting home is that I can actually watch the highlights. Mute it. But you shouldn't be able to hear that. Likodianis, cross coming in. Urbanski, that's a good header. That's a good header from Urbanski. That's the first goal for Urbanski this season. That's a good header, mate. Well done. 1-0 to Bologna. Half an hour mark coming up here. Urbanski again, bro. That's a hit. He just missed. Very nice. Castro breaks clear of the defense. Good save from Turati. It looks like players like Dani Motta, Maldini, Pereira, Pessina, they didn't get as much time on the balls they would like. Maldini, shot, saved. Juric, goal. Proper poacher goal. Unlucky Castro. Castro's hitting on that door, man. He wants it very, very soon. Ooh, close one. Castro. Castro. So, like, the reason I'm interested in this kid is because you don't really expect kids this young to come straight to Serie A from Argentina. and start getting these sort of this like he's got the number 9 for Bologna, and we get it. It's a season for Bologna that is very unique. Very, very unique. You have lost players to clubs that are huge. If you had told Bologna fans over a year ago that, man, you're about to pocket 55 million from Arsenal, 60 million for an Italian that defender that no one has looked at yet, they wouldn't be able to believe it. Combine it with the other players that have left, with the manager that's left, and to see this kid come straight from Buenos Aires, not from Boca Juniors, not from River Plate, not from Independiente. No way, bro. This kid came from, I don't remember. I don't remember the name of the team. I know it's got the word Atletico in it, but how many clubs in the Latin sphere of football have the word Atletico in it? But that goal from Castro was an absolute peach. An absolute peach. And he is one to keep an eye on because he's going to get so many opportunities this season to play himself into form. So I hope he keeps it up. Well done to Castro. Well done to Bologna. Wow, bro. What league in the world can pay your pet insurance with one result? Serie A. Como have arrived. Como are off the mark. 3-2 against Atalanta in Bergamo in a weird as match day fixture for both of these sides due to it being heavily rained out. Heavily too. Did you guys see the images of the pitch before that game? Proper beach. Proper lake. No wonder Como weren't phased. Como are off the mark in Serie A for the first time in 21 years. Their first win. Goals to Strefezza. An own goal from Sead Kolasinac, former Arsenal player, and a goal from Fadera. 3 goals in 11 minutes, silencing Zappacosta and Lookman. And for Atalanta now, well, that is starting their start to the season now is looking like one of the poorer ones out of the lot. 2 wins and 3 losses. 3 losses already in their opening 5 fixtures. Gasperini has got a good team in front of him. Let's not sit here and think that they don't have a good team. Lookman is brilliant, but the injuries that he has copped preseason have not been great, and it's just very unfair. I don't think signing Juan Cuadrado was on their card this season. That was on their card when they realized that they were skim. Because Zaniolo, I don't think it's going to happen. Scamacca's injury, kaput. I didn't like the signing of Rui Patricio. I don't rate him as a goalkeeper. I don't rate him as somebody that can lead the back line, that can command the back line, that can even command his box. I think he's a poor shot stopper as well. And I know he's going to play second fiddle to Kaniseki a lot this season, but I don't see why they had to go and grab him as a backup goalkeeper. And I know it doesn't hold much in terms of the result, but I just think with Kolasinac aging, Zappacosta, I actually rate Zappacosta. I think he's been one of the more underrated wingbacks in Serie A, but they had to have been better today, and they weren't. Raul Bellinova had one of his poorer games. But with a team that has the likes of Derun, Edison, De Catalare, Retegui, Pasalic, Samazic as well, they should be doing better. They signed Brescianini as well, didn't they? Did he come on in that game? Zaniolo was on the bench. I'm sure the camera panned to him at some point. Like, unless I saw him in like a weird training gear, a different sort of training gear that's not for bench, I don't know. I don't think he came on. I know Andrea Ballotti didn't play for Como. What's the go with that? How many minutes has he gotten this season? He's played in like most of their games. I wonder why he didn't come on at all. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Gasperini really needs to start Lookman in every single game. Every game. But this is the best image, and fact of the matter is that Como are back. They are back in Serie A. And yeah, I heard that he was thinking about it. Did he actually retire? Did Rafael Varane actually retire? Bro, Man United got fleeced by Real Madrid, bro. They paid like 45 million for Varane at that age with that injury record. United got fleeced as per usual. Next game, we're going at them slowly. Bro, how good is Sanabria, but? How good is Sanabria? And don't tell me if you've been on this channel for a while that you haven't heard me talking about Sanabria for time. Absolute time. Why do clubs not look at these players? Why did Inter not go to Torino with some young player or with a player that we didn't want? Go to Torino and go, here's 15 million euros, 1.5, not 50, for Sanabria, and here's another player. He is exactly the sort of striker you want to come off the bench for Inter. And he's exactly the sort of starter striker that you would want starting for you if you were anybody but Inter or Juve or Milan. Sanabria has always been a good player, sometimes a little bit unlucky with injuries, but he is fantastic. He's played over 100 games now for Torino. Look, you know what I think was catalytic to this guy's career, and I don't think many people know this about him, because to know these things about players, you need to have an interest for them as a player. I'm not going to go and start looking up things for every player, but when I've got an interest in them, I will. And I love these tattoos. He rejected a contract from Barcelona at some point in his career. At the start of his career, I think. I don't think he's a Barcelona youth product, but I know that he spent a lot of time in his youth career at Barcelona. Now, there was a chance for him to sign for Barcelona, but he rejected it flat out. Flat out. Then he went to Sassuolo, which is the first time I ever heard his name, but I didn't pay attention to him. How could you? He never played. He never played when he went to Roma. He was sent on loan to some team in Spain or some team in Portugal. I don't know. Forget. Then he went to Betis and he stayed for 5 years and he bagged a few goals. Pretty decent. Loaned to Genoa and then to Torino, which he's now played 100 games for. I have never heard anybody besides myself talk about this guy before. And I don't know why. I think he's a really good hitman. I know he never ever puts up numbers to the point where, his highest scoring season is probably no more than 10, 11 goals for Torino. But it's 10, 11 goals for Torino in a team that has played consistent defensive brands of football under Ivan Juric and their predecessor. So I'm pretty confident that he'll have another decent season. I think that he's going to get more goals than he did last season, which weren't many, but he did play a fair bit last season. So let's see what happens with Sanabria and let's see what happens with Torino, because they've gotten themselves another 3 points. They sit top of Serie A. Players like Valentino Lazzaro are playing very well. Players like Duvan Zapata are killing it still. And Duvan Zapata went to them for like 10.5, 11 million. How is it possible that these clubs negotiate like this? It's because they go to the table and act poor. As Inter, Juve, Milan fans, you can't act poor even if you are poor. That's the problem. Oh, man, you know who are poor? Guys. Oh, sorry, I've only got one picture for this. What are we going to do about Cagliari? What are we actually going to do about Cagliari, guys? What is going on? I can't say I'm upset. I don't like Cagliari at all. And when they got promoted back to Serie A, I was like, oh, seriously? Cagliari again? They haven't won a game yet this season. Them and Monza are the two teams yet to pick up a win. They're 2 draws and 3 losses, with their last 3 losses actually coming on the bounce. I'm pretty sure, do not quote me on this, I have only actually seen them score 1 goal this season so far. And if that's the case, he sucks. Yeah. Alexis Sanchez wasn't included in the squad for Udinese for this match day or for Serie A. Surely not Serie A as a total. For this match day, right? Empoli, on the other hand, are riding high. They've got 2 wins this season. That's their 2nd win this season. And they've got 3 draws. Empoli haven't lost a game in Serie A. Only 3 teams are undefeated so far. Torino, Turin B, and Empoli. That's nuts. It's madness. It's absolute madness. Empoli will love those 3 points on the road because that's a direct 6-pointer. To a club like Empoli that's still probably looking to survive relegation, that is incredible. Not only that, they actually went to Torino this morning in the Coppa Italia and won the game in the 90th minute. I think it was with like the last kick of the game. So Empoli are actually riding high at the moment. I don't think that they're going to get anywhere near relegation this season. They should be a team that can comfortably avoid the drop the same way Monza did last season. You know what I mean? And it's not like they dominated the game. Everybody knows Empoli is the team that's just going to wait and hit you when they want. They're going to wait and use their sting when they know it's going to hurt. And they can hurt on the break, man. They can hurt. Sebastiano Esposito grabbed a goal, which I loved seeing. Colombo played well. Ghiazzi played well. Grassi played well. Petzella played well. Like everybody, like Pietro Pellegrini came on and held the ball up very well. Mattia De Sciglio is enjoying his time there, believe it or not. Empoli, yeah? Empoli. Under D'Aversa. Under Roberto D'Aversa. So, but this isn't D'Aversa's first rodeo at trying to make a small team survive well or survive comfortably. I mean, Lecce had a pretty good season last season, right? Would everybody agree that Lecce had a comfortable season by their standards in terms of surviving relegation? If you agree with that, then we've got to agree with the fact that D'Aversa is translating that into Empoli 2024-25. In terms of Cagliari, Jesus Christ, what a bad looking lineup, man. Like, fucking hell. That rivals Venezia for the worst lineup to the point where I don't remember who was in it. I don't know who was playing for them besides Yeti Mina. I can't believe Yeti Mina is playing for them still. Besides Piccoli, besides I don't know the Angolan's forward's name. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember your name. I'm sorry. You took Lapadula's spot, who I know was subbed on later on. What's stupid face tattoo's name? The guy that looks like he's in the guy that looks like he's in the 'Ndrangheta. He's got the stupid face tattoos. He's never played for Italy though, but he's like in his mid-30s. Lavombo, that's the Angolan striker, isn't it? Thanks for reminding me, man. Yeah, I can't remember stupid eye face tattoo name, but Vela. I'm going to guess Vela. Maybe it's Vela. I don't know. But yeah, bad for Cagliari. They're last. They'll probably get relegated again. And I couldn't be more happy to see them get relegated again. I've got nothing to do with Cagliari. Venezia are off the mark. Venezia are off the mark in 2024, 2025. They will be very happy about that. I don't think they were ready to go another week without getting their 3 points. They're not out of the relegation zone. I don't think we'll get to the ladder soon. But I think that they're on like 4 points now, meaning they're probably only 1 point off jumping up 3 or 4 spots. They probably won't be looking at the ladder at this point of the year. But to beat Genoa, who are looking pretty bad after starting well against Inter and playing well against Juve, like Genoa, they don't. They haven't played against Juve. They play against Juve this week. I'm hoping that because they've started so poorly, Genoa, that they really, really need something. They need something. Now, not Lapadula. I already said Lapadula who came on. There's another player with an eye tattoo. I don't know what his name is, but ciao, Debs. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for your consistent membership. And thanks to Lucas and Adam as well for their consistent membership. Any other channel members in the house tonight? Zir, thank you so much for your membership, bro. Zir, thank you so much for your membership. You don't need to do that, cuz honestly, you're a goat. Let me know when I can come on your channel, man. I know I said I can't be a regular, but I'm always down to come on, bro. Venezia 2, Genoa 0 in a game that was very even percentage-wise. I only watched about 11 minutes of this game, to be honest. I watched the goals, but I can't remember them. You know what? Let's go back and watch them again. Why not? anyone just make sure you can confirm the background and remove parts of it. If you can hear commentary right now, let me know. Vitinho, Vitinha, oof, Boboda. Oh, close, man. Gianluca Busio, good chance. Busio, good pass. 1-2. Busio goes down. Rigore. Bro, this Busio guy is everywhere. Oh, the penalty saved. Oh, the game was scoreless still. Bro, that is the most unbelievable goal. Golini. Oh, Golini, that is awful. That is awful, Golini. That is awful goalkeeping. This was the game where Ruslan Malinovsky broke his ankle, isn't it? I saw that. That was really bad. I was really upset. Oh, that was so bad. Poor Malinovsky, his career is pretty much over. Oh, that was awful. That was awful. I feel so bad for him. Oh, great goal. Balo. Juan Balo. Where's he from again? Where's this Bolo guy from again? Poya Bolo? Venezia. 3 goals. I mean, 3 points. 2 goals, their first 3 points of the campaign. You got to love it. For Genoa, they're stuck. They're a little bit stuck. I think they've got 4 or 5 points, but they're a bit stuck at the moment. Next game, please. We're starting to get to the business end. I think this is it. Is this the last game? No, it can't be. We still got to talk about Roma. That's right. This game was the heartbreaker of the match day. I watched plenty of it. I don't need to watch the highlights again. I'll never watch those highlights again because if I was a Lecce fan, that's the sort of game that makes you put your fist through a wall. That's the sort of game that makes you actually cry in the car and make you never want to watch it again. That's the sort of game where you say things that you don't mean to people you love. And you know what else happened? They lost at home to Sassuolo in the Coppa Italia today as well. Lecce took an absolute mental pounding in the last few minutes of that game. To be leading that game by 2-0 in the 93rd minute with only 6 minutes of added time, you had to have literally conceded 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. And that's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. Red card to Gulbert for Lecce. I think Gulbert, that's how you say it. And Cancellieri for Parma. Goal in the 59th minute to Kristovic to make it 2-0. And at that point, you're thinking 2-0 and we're back to 10 men each. Now it's just a slog for Lecce. Parma had 60, it's like over 60% possession. And it was, I forget, I don't know how to say the first name. It was Alm something. And Hainot scored the second one. 2-2. Probably the best point Parma will get all season, primarily for the time that they got it. And they won't be complaining because with their win that they've gotten this season, they got that extra point. They're on 5 points. That Parma team is not going to survive the drop very comfortably, like some people thought with them going up in Serie B. You know, they should be the comfortable ones. But besides Dennis Mann, I struggle to see where the real threats are going to come from up front. Boni is good. I know this Pontus guy is good. But it's gonna be a challenging season for Parma. For Lecce, I think it will be even more challenging. I really do. I think Lecce are going to be in for a slog. They're in for a grind. Luca Gotti is, he might have a name that sounds like a mafioso, but at the end of the day, his resume is literally permanent survival mode. It's permanent survival mode. His time at Udinese, survival mode still. He enjoyed a really good time as an assistant. Yeah, he enjoyed a good time as an assistant. Not everybody gets to go to Chelsea and be an assistant, so he did well there. But at the end of the day, he's going to struggle, and Lecce are going to struggle big time. That's pretty much it, apart from the Roma game, which we will go to now. Roma are back. Roma are back under Ivan Juric, Under Ivan Juric. Going to be very interesting to see how they go. More of a defensive brand of football, but a lot of vertical passing in this game. A lot of vertical passing in this game, which I think the Roma fans were very, very happy with, just to get their first 3 points of the season. They played well. They played like a team that was ready to win. They handed Udinese their first little serve of the season as well. And yeah, I think that Roma can now use this as a building point. Dojbic is definitely rocked up. And they're probably their two most promising players for different reasons. Dybala just being their overall best player and Baldanzi being their best young player, making sure of the points. In fact, I like Baldanzi a lot. I think he was a great pickup for them. Just love the way he gets forward. I love the way he gets forward, man. I know Hermoso came on in this game and Mats Hummels was on the bench. But other than that, nothing really to report on with Roma. Just they'll see it as like a start to their season and business at the moment, because we all saw Pellegrini have to face the fans, and rightfully so. The fans aren't just going to put up with managerial rotation if nothing's going to improve ever. Okay, I was here for almost an hour doing the Serie A wrap up today. It was very, very enjoyable. Please make sure that you like the video and comment and share it around. If you do want me to keep doing these match day reactions, they're definitely never going to get the viewership as an video or get the views as an video. But I'm happy to spend an extra 20 minutes watching highlights and talking about Serie A than I would usually just coming home and watching it by myself for 20 minutes anyway. Okay, thank you very, very much. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter Worldwide.